Hey folks, this is Mike with the Long Shot coming to you from the mountains of Wyoming. I'm at about 9,200 feet right now. The hunt for tonight is probably a bust. It's about to get dark, haven't seen anything, couldn't decide what area I wanted to go to. So I figured let's do a gun review on this Tikka T3x Ace game in 7 PRC while I'm enjoying the sunset here. Let's go.
Huh?
I think it was a dead elk.
Dead out.
All right, so you'll notice it does look a little bit different, and that's because I actually put last minute an HNT 26 chassis on it. No, I had no issues with the original chassis. It's actually very nice. Doesn't come with a folder, although it looks like it does. The HNT does come with a folder, so if you want to swing that back around and get this really slim, you can strap it to your pack and not have it be as long as it is. But the chassis was a little bit heavy. I kind of ran into scope issues trying to figure out which lightweight scope I wanted, so I put this Athlon Cronus BTR Gen 2 UHD 4.5 to 29. This is, I believe it's almost like 3 pounds. I was trying out a new Arkin and I just didn't like it, and I wanted quality glass. So when I put this on top of the Ace Game with its original chassis that it came with, it was a bit too heavy. Just trying to get as light as I can so I can, not get super tired, maximize my mileage in the mountains. And so I ended up slapping this HNT 26 that I had on here. Another issue was that the original chassis comes with a plastic mag. This is an MDT. It's actually like a 300 Win Mag magazine, but plenty long for the 7 PRC. The plastic mag, if it had any rounds left in it, it was fine. But on the last round, when the mag was empty, if you would shoot, it would fall out every time. So it's kind of a weird issue. Anyways, this combo is really nice. I had this on a 300 Win Mag, but it was too light to shoot. I mean, that thing would just completely beat you up. It didn't have a threaded muzzle. It was the first ever Tikka T3x that I bought. And honestly, I couldn't get that. No matter what I do, no matter what load I try, I couldn't get that 300 Win Mag shooting less than like 2 MOA. So since I'm a long range shooter and I want to be able to shoot out, 700-800 yards to take an animal, even though that's not my goal, I'm trying to get in as close as possible. 2 MOA is just a little too big of a group size. Couldn't really get it dialed into my liking out to distance, so I ended up taking that off and putting this on here to lighten this up. All right, so let's talk about some other features of the T3x Ace Game. It has a nice 24-inch fluted barrel. I chose to go with a muzzle brake here. This is an Apollo Max brake, probably a little much for a hunting rig. I'm sure I could go with like a titanium lightweight brake, but the thing that makes this combo nice is since I'm saving a ton of weight, excuse me, since I'm saving a ton of weight on the chassis itself by going with the H&T carbon fiber, I now can have a little extra weight, so I have really nice glass and that heavier brake. This thing shoots really nice. It barely kicks, so I really like it. All right, I have not sure if you've heard of the Tricer bipod. I think it's called the Tricer RP. This bipod is really awesome. It's like 15 ounces. You can see this is all carbon fiber. It extends out super long. You can have your bipod set up from like the sitting position and almost use your pack standing up as like a rear bag. So I really like that. The Tricer bipod, super awesome. And go figure. I like MDT stuff, very expensive, but when you buy an MDT bipod, comes with one mount. If you want a different mount, you got to buy it. So Tricer actually comes, you can see here, this has Picatinny. It's still a Picatinny, M-lock Picatinny with a sling stud adapter, and that came with the Tricer bipod, and it also came with an Arca head, which is pretty awesome. So it comes with everything you need. They give a good military discount. I think with a military discount total, that Tricer setup was like $275. Totally worth the money. Highly recommend it. I really enjoy it. Don't even notice it's on the rifle based on how light it is, and it extends super long. As you know, Mother Nature does not allow us to shoot in the prone most of the time. So getting an elevated bipod position is critical. Okay, some other features here. You can see it's got a nice spiral fluted bolt. Looks pretty cool. Guess that's saving some weight, probably not that much. Came with a 20 MOA Picatinny rail. I thought that was forged in, but that's actually just, or sorry, forged is not the right word, you know, milled into the action, but that's actually just bolted on. That's fine. Have my MDT rings on here. Okay, so what do I think of the Tikka T3x Ace game in 7 PRC? This is my first 7 PRC. You know, I'm starting to wonder if Hornady is lying to us. I have a 6.5 PRC, bought factory ammo for that. I bought factory ammo for the 7 PRC. Don't even get close to published speeds. I think published speeds for the 175 ELDX, which was the only factory 7 PRC load that I could find in my local sporting goods store. I think it was supposed to be north of 2,900. I can't remember the exact published. I was getting like 2,700, and it threw like a 3-inch group. I had the same experience with my 6.5 PRC. Thankfully, you know, there's a nice company called Berger that makes high quality bullets. So I've been able to load with Peterson Brass, Berger 175 Elite Hunters. I couldn't get the speeds, like I got it north of 2,900, but the groups are really opening up. And, you know, being a competition shooter, like having a 1.5 minute hunting gun, like it's probably fine. But you tend to get very picky and want something really tight shooting. So because we have, you know, running these laser range finding binos, these Leupold BX4 range, you know, it's fine to run a little slower. So I backed it off to about 2,800 feet per second, and it's shooting, I would call it like MOA or sub MOA. Depends on how many bullets you shoot in your group. Probably like 1 inch at for like a 10-shot group, and probably a little less than that for like a 5-shot group. It shoots like a dream, whether it's in the original chassis or this HNT 26. It's really nice adjustable. It's got an adjustable cheek pad that has kind of like a quick release thing. Since it doesn't have the folder, you have to push the cheek pad down if you want to take the bolt out. Obviously here on the HNT 26, you can swing the butt open, so you don't have to mess with the cheek pad, but has a really nice you know, cheek pad. It comes with a bunch of spacers, so you can really get your natural point of aim, your NPA set up, which is absolutely critical if you want to shoot well. I was a little bummed at the plastic mag it came with, that it keeps falling out. I'm just gonna find a metal magazine. You know, I like having 5-round magazines anyway, because then you just load that thing up. You don't really have to worry about bringing extra rounds with you. Overall, I really do like the gun. Like, I think the Tikka is a shooter. You know, I've already got a couple hundred rounds through it, just doing all types of load development. But having realistic expectations, although Tikkas have good accuracy potential, you know, it's likely that you're not going to, at least in my experience with this 7 PRC, it's likely that you're not going to, you know, buy some factory ammo and get a half MOA. Like, I think we're getting pretty picky, and we're getting used to like really good competition guns. We're getting used to sub MOA accuracy promises, although I don't really know what that means from companies, like if they would stand by that or not. So it is a shooter. It's pretty awesome. Like, I like the configuration that I have on it right now. I actually really like it with the HNT chassis. And then another benefit is, you know, with 2 action screws, I can switch out for the original chassis that it came with, slap a bunch of weights on there, and now I have kind of like a scratch ELR type gun. So you know, can make it a little bit heavier, put a bigger scope on there, and take it out for some range shooting, because honestly I'm only going to be hunting with it like a few days a year. So although I may try to take it out for some local North Carolina black bear later in the year, I think that'd be awesome to zip a 7 PRC right through one of those suckers and watch it drop. If you've ever shot a black bear, you know that it's best to drop them in their tracks if you can, because they're fat. They're late, you know, they're late fall, early winter fat, kind of like seals the bullet hole, and there's not much of a blood trail, or none. You know, shot black bears with a bow and get a pretty good blood trail, but sometimes can't even find that entrance wound. You're only getting a blood trail of the exit wound. So anyways, long story short, it's going to be cool to get this out hunting a bunch. And then, you know, for the other 9 months of the year when I'm not hunting, put that original chassis back on it, put a bunch of weights on it, weight it down, and it should even be more of a dream to shoot. So really don't regret buying the Tikka T3x Ace Game in 7PRC. I like the 7PRC. Annoyed at Hornady that you can never get even close to published accuracy or published speeds with it. I know, like, you know, people will come to their defense and say, oh, the powder that they use to develop it isn't available anymore. All right, well then change the speed on the box. Like, that's, to me, that feels dishonest. But never been a huge fan of Hornady products. Shoot some of their bullets, shoot some ELDM bullets, but you know, in 2 or 3 guns that I've tried Hornady match ammo, I've not had great experiences. So, and their brass kind of stinks too. It's very soft. It'll work, but it's just very soft. So I think that's it for now. Pardon the mountaintop review, but I hope that was something fun and different. Gonna enjoy the rest of this sunset and hike back in the dark. I hate hiking in the dark, but I'm gonna start doing it more. Think it's important to push yourself out of your comfort zone. Hopefully during this trip I can find a nice mule deer and put one down. Got an elk hunt coming up later on. That should be really fun. That's actually with a guide, so I'll probably hopefully be successful instead of just being out here bumbling around on my own, talking, doing video reviews, which is not known to attract the deer. But yeah, oh, and I forgot to say, I bought it with my own money. I do have an FFL, so I was able to get dealer price, which is like 20% less than MSRP. So I think it's a good deal. I was going to wait for trying to get my hands on a Seekins Havoc PH3 and 7PRC, but I couldn't find any on, at least on my dealer sites, and I wanted to save a bit of money. You know, I'm not made of money, so I went with the Tikka, and I'm not disappointed. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Hope you enjoy me coming to you from the mountains of Wyoming, outside of Laramie, and then I'll be heading west later this week for the elk hunt. Wish me luck. Let me know if you have any questions on the Tikka T3x Ace Game. Really did like it. Again, just opportunistically switched out the chassis. I did not need to. The only thing that I would have needed to figure out is that plastic magazine. That was like my main gripe. That chassis is a little bit heavier, obviously, than this carbon fiber one, but would have been fine, especially if you have a more appropriate lightweight hunting scope and not like a competition 29 power scope like I have on here. So, all right, that's it for now. Take care. God bless. Jesus loves you, and we'll catch you next time.